the bigger dogs I had lived to 14 or 15. And people would say, well, he's a big dog, so you can't expect him to live much past 12 or 13. That doesn't help. You
Yeah,
want him around forever, right?
he doesn't. No, it does not. So look forward to it. I do have a 2:30 coaching call. So I just want to make sure that we're good with that. I do have a 2:30 call.
John, that's his way of saying, let's get to it.
And I second that emotion, man. I second that. Can you hear me?
I like John, dude.
John, let's make this second section then a little bit shorter so we can get to the six-pack.
Yeah. How does it sound? Does it sound okay? Can you hear everything all right?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Marcus, do you play golf?
I do, yes.
Okay, we'll get to that in the second section then.
Okay, Here we go. With number one here in 3, 2, 1. And we promised you a wonderful guest. We deliver. Once again, we deliver. We have never not delivered.
Damn
We're
right.
better than DoorDash. We deliver all the time, man. I'm John Ashton. He is Neil Michaels. We are the Approach Shot. We promised you a guest. We have it. Marques Ogden. Sir, great to meet you. How you doing? And welcome to the Approach Shot, bud.
Joe, how you doing, John? I appreciate it, my friend. Really excited to be here.
Good.
We're excited to have you, man. And like John said, we don't require tips like DoorDash does. So it's all good. Marcus, you do a lot of work, man. You're a keynote speaker. You're a business consultant and coach. You're a best-selling author. Book came out. God, does it feel like 6 years ago that Sleepless Nights came out?
God, it doesn't, but that's correct. Wow, it was almost 7 years now. It was 2015 October. So yeah, 6.5 years.
And he is also a podcaster, so he fits right into our craziness. The Levin Marcus Show, which, by the way, your guest list, very jealous.
Well, Neil's all about just who you know and talking to people and saying, hey, come on our show and come give us a hand. And so a lot of guys have been and girls have been very. It's been very giving of their time. So it's been really nice to have people come on the show and find a lot of value.
Yeah, that's why we're having you on the show, man. We want to spin your Rolodex.
Hey, that's what network is all about, man.
That's right. Because we don't know nobody, Marcus.
We don't know nobody. Well, we know Marcus, so that's good enough for now.
Man, I got to tell you, Marcus, I was looking at some stuff and the video that you have on your website with that picture of you sitting on the curb crying. That is one of the more powerful pictures and stories I have seen in quite a while.
So, John, I think it's interesting because a lot of people ask me, well, what does that mean to you? And I tell people it means to me the moment that accountability became my primary focus in my life. Mm-hmm. And I tell people there's two ways of looking at things as far as what you have to do either for yourself or for people. Responsibility, which is what I call the external factor, where I promised my wife I'm going to be at to pick up my daughter 6:15 from ballet, hip hop, dance. I promised my wife I'll wash the clothes or take the trash out. That's a responsibility. Right. Accountability, John, is when you make that internal promise to yourself that you're going to do whatever is necessary to get what you want in and out of life. And that moment when I had the spoiled milk, rock bottom moment of clarity, that was the moment where accountability, which was kind of hanging in the balance, either could have gone down for negative or could have gone up for positive. If it would have gone down for negative, who I am today would not be. But because I made the decision that I want to get my life back, I want to work towards something greater than the failure that I had, which was home foreclosed on, cars repossessed, all that stuff. That's how it became where I got to get off this curb. I got to make moves towards getting myself where I want to be.
Yeah, isn't it funny how, first of all, congrats on everything, because your positivity online, in social media, doing your coaching is remarkable, especially considering where you were back in 13, 14. Failure's a hell of a teacher, isn't it?
Oh, I'm going to tell you something, Neil. Failure is the greatest teacher if you are willing to learn. If you're not willing to learn, it's not going to teach you anything, and you'll keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Yeah. I had a mentor once who told me, John, you will never fail. You will either succeed or you'll learn something.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Very powerful. Always, either you fail in life, you either succeed or you try again. It's really that simple.
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing, the work that you're doing with the Athlete Foundry, because from everything I read, it's a way to help, and correct me if I'm wrong, which I often am. Um, it's a way for high school athletes, especially women, to get themselves prepped for college athletics. Is that right?
That's 100% correct, Neil.
Right.
And what it is it is a place, a platform you can go to. It's not a recruiting site. It's not anything of that. It's a place to help give you a customized roadmap athletically, academically, and human-based wise to actually push forward in what you're doing. And a lot of people have issues because trying to get recruited, you're in a zip code that's not really heavily recruited, like some part of, let's say you're in Iowa, some obscure area, or some obscure area of like Oregon, and you're not in like a Chicago or a Charlotte or a Miami, and you're kind of somewhere obscure. Well, Athlete Foundry's platform helps to eradicate wherever you're at from a zip code standpoint. And what it does, it gets you on the radar of college coaches and academic people who following a platform. Again, we're not a recruiter. We give you a systematic roadmap to help you get from where you are to where you want to be to become that collegiate athlete, and hopefully to Neil and John, getting some money from that institution of higher learning for you to play sports at their university or their college.
John and I talk all the time about the fact that we're blessed to be in 2022, especially after what just happened with Epson. There's an awful lot of attention being thrust upon, in a positive way, women's golf. And if you talked about this 10 years ago, women's golf is kind of that thing that they put on the Golf Channel when they don't have anything else. And now suddenly the LPGA is in the forefront. There's money being put in there. Epson just put a ton of money in, not just to sponsor on television, but to help with travel and build up and things like that. Is the reason that you're focusing on women's athletics because it's still not where men's athletics is?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, women athletes are not getting what I feel they deserve professional wise, college wise, and they need, especially on the high school level, they just need to get some more attention, some more marketing. And I have a saying, I don't care if it's business, sports, if nobody knows you exist in business, they can't buy your product. If nobody knows you exist in sports, they can't recruit you. And unfortunately, a lot of young ladies who are extremely talented, extremely academically enhanced, they're not getting opportunities because they don't have the money to go to these camps or these clinics at the colleges. They don't have resources from their coaching staff at times or academic advisors. And unfortunately, because of that, they get left off the radar. And it's really hard for them to go somewhere and try to get on a team. Again, if you have limited resources and of course, limited funding. So we're really trying to help everybody, but yes, especially women athletes who we know are talented, but because of their zip code or their financial situation, they don't get a chance to actually be on the right stages to be able to get colleges to look at them for potential scholarships and for academic and athletic opportunities.
Yeah, most college coaches these days are looking at the travel tournaments and things, especially for junior golf. You can be playing in high school, but like you say, no one's really paying attention except the people in high school.
Correct.
So if you don't have the wherewithal to get to the national travel junior tournaments, you're not going to be seen by anybody. So that is great what you're doing for women specifically. and then youngsters all over the place. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk to Marques about some years playing football and some years playing golf, and see if either of those have contributed at all to what he's doing now. We are the Approach Shot. We will be right back. Don't you move.
Awesome.
3, 2, 1. You moved. I saw you, but you're still there, so you came back. So did we. I'm John Ashton. He's Neil Michaels. Marques Ogden is our guest. This is the Approach Shot. And how many years you play in the NFL, Marques?
Almost 6.
6. Did you get hurt at all?
Yeah, back injuries, knee injuries, shoulder injuries, just, line them up. It's what, like an approach shot. Yes, line it up, tee it up. I got my ass handed to me some days. But
I don't see how anybody can play that game and walk off the field under their own power, man. I mean, that is just brutal game.
There's this other guy named Ogden who did the same. You may know him. And isn't part of the reason, at least what I've read, isn't part of the reason that you decided to hang him up because you saw what happened to Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, my brother went through a lot, playing for the Ravens, phenomenal organization, 12-year career. But I remember it was a playoff game versus the Colts, and they lost that game. And he took a cortisone shot in his big toe to try to play because they knew nobody else could handle Dwight Freeney off the edge. And my brother, at probably 60, 70%, was way better than somebody at 100%. So my brother went through a lot on his body, a lot of heartache and headache and, all that type of stuff. So seeing that and then realizing, after I left Tennessee with the back injury, and I'm 27, almost 28 years old, been playing football since I was 13 years old. So got almost 15 years on the gridiron between high school, college, and the National Football League. It's time to kind of just probably walk away, and it's hard. I look at Tom Brady, 22 years in the National Football League.
Right.
And I told this to everybody, and I said all the time, especially talking to the youth, at some point, Tom Brady will retire. They're like, no, he's not going anywhere. I'm like, look, I know he's 35, he's 40, he's 44, and now it's done.
Yeah,
and I tell everybody, I don't care how old you are, at some point, unless you unfortunately pass away while playing your sport, you will become an ex-athlete.
Yeah. You were on the Ravens for a year. Were you and Jonathan on the same team at the same time?
Sure were.
How was that?
That was amazing. I mean, getting to play with him and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Terrell Suggs and Jamal Lewis and all these phenomenal. Deion Sanders was a teammate of mine. Just phenomenal individuals, and it was great. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I was single, not married, no kids, and so I was able to enjoy playing the game, but also being able to get to work super early for looking at film and getting my workouts on and in, and then going to practice, and after practice staying late to watch more film, to break things down, to and I was able to really immerse myself in my job. And I really enjoyed it because it was to me, I always tell people, at that time it was my career, but looking back on it now, it was a job, it was a phase of life. It wasn't my everything, but I really enjoyed all of the time I spent trying to develop myself into that next phase of life, because that's really what football is about. You should use it as a stepping stone to the next portion of your life.
Interesting, John, that he mentioned all of those guys that he mentioned, and a quarterback wasn't mentioned in what he said. And I'm looking down, Jags, Ravens, the Bills back then, and the Titans back then. You weren't exactly blessed with a Tom Brady to play with, were you?
No, I had in Jacksonville, I had Byron Leftwich, who did okay. I had an older Mark Brunell and a David Garrard. David had a pretty good career. Mark was in the end of his career when I was playing, and Byron went on to do pretty well. Baltimore, we had Kyle Bowler, a great guy, but this was never the phenomenal quarterback that he was hoping to be. Just injuries, and there's a lot of things that happened with Kyle, but great guy. Then we had J.P. Lossman and Kelly Holcomb in Buffalo. Then we had Vince Young and Kerry Collins in Nashville.
Yeah, and there's one name in that group that that people were. Oh, I remember Vince. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Brunell was in his prime was terrific, and the thing about Byron Leftwich is he was always a better offensive mind than his body would allow, which is why he's being. He just got a head coaching job. Is that correct?
Well, he's close.
He's
He's
close.
trying to finalize that with Jacksonville. Hopefully
Yep.
soon, but yes, he should hopefully get that job shortly.
Yeah, he was a brilliant mind. In fact, we had Carl Lee on not long ago, and he played, obviously, the West Virginia connection there. Byron was one of the great West Virginia players. I think Carl and Randy Moss were a couple of the others. But yeah, I did notice when you said that, not a lot of all-pro quarterbacks.
Yeah. No Lamar Jackson in the mix there, huh?
No Lamar, no Tom Brady, no Drew Brees type of guys. Just wasn't in the cards. I mean, they were all great teammates, but no, wasn't in the cards for any all pro or Hall of Fame quarterbacks. We did have I did play with a lot of Hall of Fame guys in general, like Kevin Mawai, amazing football player. Played with him in Nashville. Of course, played with Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, my brother. All first ballot Hall of Famers. Played with some guys that were really good, not Hall of Famers, like Willis McGahee, Eric Moulds. They were really good. I played with Fred Taylor. It's it's some really, really stellar players, in that regard. So I'm hoping Fred gets to the Hall of Fame soon. I don't know what's taking so long. He should have been in there by now. I think guys like. I'm trying to think. I don't know if Eric will get in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he was a really great wide receiver for the Bills. I mean, so I did have some. I did play with some really phenomenal play. Terrell Suggs might end up being a Hall of Famer.
Should be
eventually. Yeah, I think he probably will be. So I was very fortunate to be around some phenomenal players in that regard.
Life lessons and memories galore, man. In 6 years.
Oh, I tell you what, learned so much about life and just competitive and how to compete and all these different aspects of what sports teaches you about how to be successful when you retire or move on from that from the game.
Have you been able to take any of that out to the golf course?
Resiliency and toughness and never giving up because it's in that regard it was a lot of work on that front, but yeah, other than that, yeah, probably not.
Now we have this is kind of redundant, and I understand that because you say, guys, you've been asking questions since we started, but we have a 6-pack, 6 dedicated questions. And we're coming back with it in just a few seconds, so hang with us. Marques Ogden is our guest right here on The Approach Shot. Don't you move. All right, now 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to The Approach Shot. I'm John Ashton. He is Neil Michaels. Marques Ogden, our guest, and the answers come quick, right off the top of your head, man. You're on.
Yeah, we're going to ask you a 6-pack of questions, Marques. And the first thing that comes to your mind, no hemming and hawing, no, let me think about this for a minute. Right off the top of your head. If you don't, we give you a
for the last time, no.
Kind of something like that. You ready?
Let's do it.
Question 1. I ask a lot of athletes who they'd like to have a beer and talk sports with, but I'm going to switch it up for you. Who would you like to have a cocktail and talk business with?
Alive or passed away.
Your choice.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, for business.
Yes.
Interesting.
He was a phenomenal business individual. To set everything up he did, to create all the things he did with different people, the boycott, the bus boycott. That was a business-minded type of individual move. So he really set it up in that regard because everything he did kind of predicated, to me, a lot of big business down the line.
He had
Beautiful.
my house in 1964.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we were living in Boston, and real quick story. My mom made pot roast for dinner, and he thanked her because he said everybody else in the North he has dinner with tried to make Southern cooking, and wound up doing fried chicken. And he said, I don't know if they understand just how stereotypically racist that was.
Wow.
But he just thanked my mom for being real. And my dad was a Baptist minister, and they were working together on some.
I've known you all this time. This is the first time you've ever told that story?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. It's the first time it was apropos, okay?
All righty. John took the 6-pack right off the rails, didn't he? All right, let's see if we can get back on. Question 2. We here at the Approach Shot have magic powers. I didn't know if you knew that. And we're giving you the Approach Shot Magic Wand. You're welcome. Now you can bestow one power on one of your clients. Do you give them patience, mental toughness, or success?
Mental toughness.
Not patience.
No, because if you're mentally tough, you can endure patience. If you're patient, doesn't mean you're going to be mentally tough. Because when you're mentally tough, you are usually pushed to the edge. And a lot of times to get pushed to the edge and not go off the edge, you need to have mental toughness.
Very nice. All right, question 3. I have to ask some on the field questions, such as, what was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you on the field? And you can go back as far as high school.
I will say when I was playing for the Ravens and we were playing the Atlanta Falcons and we were doing pregame warm-up and we had nobody in front of us, and I ended up tripping and falling flat on my face right in front of our old coordinator, Jim Fossil, who said, Marques, what? Come on, man, get up. All right, let's go win this game. Let's go. Get up. Don't lay on the ground. I was like, all right, coach, I'm up. And I went back to the huddle. I'm like, damn. Like, well, hopefully I'll fall down now. I don't fall down when the lights turn on. I'll never forget, man, falling flat on my face in pregame warm-up with nobody, no defense in front of us, just straight air right in front of Jim Fossil.
That's the kind of stuff that gets you a nickname.
Yeah. I guess like, the nimble feet or no feet, whatever you want to call it, was bad.
Nobody wants to call a 300-pound guy Klutzy Ogden, but, if the shoe fits.
It fit, for sure.
Question 4. You teach businesses and their people the power of communication and speech while leaving their ego at the door. So, in today's sports world, who needs to leave their ego at the door? And on the other side of it, who's had the most success at checking their ego and having success?
I'll say Jalen Ramsey needs to check his ego. Good guy, but his ego can get a little out of control. Who's done a nice job who has no ego, in my opinion, is Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan has done a phenomenal job with his delivery, with his brand, and he has no ego whatsoever. He's the most humble individual I've ever, and actually he comes on our podcast the 23rd of this month.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Boy, he is, even during the broadcast, there's a lot of self-effacing humor. And for a guy who accomplished everything that he's accomplished, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Very down to earth.
All right. And that sort of rolls, nice promo for your podcast. That rolls right into question 5. You interview a ton of celebrities on the Levin Marques podcast. Who have you found the most quote-worthy?
Oh, without a doubt, Joe Namath.
Yeah.
Greatest quote Joe Namath ever said, I've heard. Change is a constant.
Man.
Change is a constant. And he said that he learned that from Paul Bear Bryant. And he said, Paul Bear Bryant said, Joe, come here, boy. Every time you come down here, it's going to be change. As you get older, as you mature, it's going to be difficult, right? And Paul Bear Bryant, he had another great quote that he said on the podcast that Paul Bear Bryant told him, if you think you can't, you won't.
Wow.
How
about that?
So Joe was
coming from Bear Bryant,
like literally. Another thing he said on the show is he said, I remember, it was back in the 60s, it was back in like the early 60s, and we were it was like in the 60s when we were chatting about different things we were going to be doing, and we had some things going on. And I was talking to Frank and to Jesse. I was talking to Frank, I was talking to Jackie, I was talking to some other people. I said, well, Joe, who are Frank who? Oh, Frank Sinatra. Just Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
And then Jackie was Jackie Robinson. Jackie. Yeah, just Jackie. Sure.
Just throw. Yeah.
I was talking to Frank and Jackie about some things we're going to be. I'm like, oh, really? Just Frank and Jackie, huh? You're talking to Frank Sinatra or Jackie Robinson. Just Frank and Jackie. Frank. Also,
Marques, I think maybe it's not your. Yeah, I think maybe it's not your Rolodex we want to spin. I think we'll do that one, Joe.
That's your life. It's awesome. See,
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Wow. All right, question 6, and we ask this of everybody who comes on the show since we are the approach shot. Marques Ogden, in your approach to life, what one rule do you live by?
Inspire others to succeed in life by telling them how to succeed where I failed.
Wow. John, you know what? It didn't even appear as though he was sitting on a hot seat. It was like forget Joe Namath. This guy's Joe Cool over here.
Oh, when you said
everything
first
just lined up.
impressions, I mean, they came fast and furious, man.
No kidding. Marques, I would say you're off the hot seat, but you didn't even sound like you were on a hot seat. Well done, sir.
Thank you, Gil. Appreciate it, Don. Anytime people ask me great questions, I can always, in my career as a speaker, I've learned how to figure out what people are saying, and then I think would be a great response based off what they're starting to ask me, kind of figure that out.
Yeah, that's a talent, man, and you do it well.
Thank you, sir.
It's
Tell everybody where they can, a little bit more about where they can find the podcast.
Sure. They can go. So the 11 Marques Show is on every major podcast platform: Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeart, Amazon, Stitcher, YouTube. And, you can also go to our website, www.marques, Ogden, OGDEN.com, or shoot me an email at marques@marquesogden.com. Reach out to us, get in touch with us. We'd love to speak with you.
I know you're in the Golden Triangle these days, but if you get back up to Baltimore, that's where I'm from, the Baltimore, Washington area. Let me know and I'll meet you at the Inner Harbor sometime and we'll grab a crab cake.
Sounds like a plan. I always love to go back to Baltimore, especially doing some speaking work. And one of my good friends, actually one of my best friends, is a pastor at a huge church in Timonium Hunt Valley area.
Nice.
Very
north
cool.
side of town.
Alrighty then. Well, we know you're going to have to run, Marques. We do appreciate you spending time with us here on the Approach Shot. And hopefully we'll be able to chat again in the not too distant future, sir.
Look forward to it. Thank you, Jim. You all were fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. You too. Continued success, my friend.
Same here.
All right.
And we got it done in time for you to make your phone call.
Boom.
It was fantastic. I loved it. I look forward to when it comes out. Let me know. I'll share it on my platforms and help promote the word.
We'll do it. I think it'll probably be not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. But I'll email you and let you know for sure.
Just shoot me an email. I'll get it posted.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great day, gentlemen.
You too.
All right. See you.
Bye-bye. What do we have for this Sunday?
Boom. Tomorrow we'll probably do.
I can't wait.
Lawrence.
I can't wait till tomorrow to get this Sunday's recorded.
Really?
I won't have time to edit it.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll do him.
We'll have to do him.
Yeah, I only didn't want to do 2 NFL players back to back, but if you don't have time to be able to do that, then Joe.
Yeah.
All right. No worries.
Cool.
We got to do ins and outs at some point.
Yeah.
And then we'll do. We got Mitch tomorrow. I'm going to coordinate the Matthew part of that, and then I'm hoping to get Don Slot for next week.
Don who?
Don Slot. The
Slot.
okay. Yeah.
And what time's tomorrow?
I think it's the same or 10:30. 1:30 your time. Hold on. Yeah, it's 1:30.
1:30 my time. Okay.
1:30 your time.
I will be ready.
All right, my friend. You look a little stressed. Everything all right?
Yeah, it's just I signed up. I'll send you the schedule too. I signed up for a 12-week course on using content to promote effectively.
Oh, okay.
And it's 2 days a week, a couple hours each of those days. Yeah, but it's expensive, but she's good.
Well,
So,
God knows we could use it because we're not promoting this week, and we're down to 3 downloads, 5 downloads a day. So I opened my wallet and I paid the guy $300 a month to do to somebody who's actually going to build the podcast, not just get a bunch of bullshit downloads from Indonesia.
Yeah.
And then I also paid two of them to do that so we can pop the numbers, but I'm only paying the fake ones to do Sundays and Mondays because it doesn't make any sense. 8:35 on Wednesday. It's like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, I got a little panic stricken too. I checked. I haven't checked the numbers for a while. And last week's podcast was, this stuff for January. One that ran the first new one that ran in January only has 12,000 downloads.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
How about after that?
It's picking up a little bit, but that was as of today, this morning. So
for the first week in January. Well, the first week in January last year sucked too.
Yeah.
It was like it took to the middle of the month to have people get back on. I think that's just the holidays.
Yeah. And Gao sent an invoice already. Actually, they sent two. they
sent
reset
two?
January's.
They're so on it.
It's like, I ain't paying twice.
Right.
Sorry, lady.
Have I sent you the $600 yet?
For January, yeah, not for February.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll send that over today.
And you realize today is 2222?
I do. 2222.
And it's Tuesday.
Tuesday. That's right. Tuesday. That I'm sure we'll be saying that in the opens.
Yes, and I have another great bit. I don't know if you've seen this. I know your Facebook page got hacked.
It did.
But I saw a thing today. It said Milli Vanilli has said if Joe Rogan's not gone, they're gonna take someone else's music off Spotify.
Got it. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The hacking thing was interesting. I had somebody tell me about it yesterday and I was like, yeah, okay. And then I had a bunch of people tell me about it today and I was like, okay, what do I do? And it was just as simple as changing my password and it's all gone.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because once I said I was hacked, I got 5 people who are like, you should contact this person on WhatsApp at one blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, really? You're going to take this and turn it into a shill? Wow.
I mean, I see the thing that says, Mike Krasny has posted a picture of you. What?
Oh, you too, huh?
Yeah, went there and saw
Before
the fact check. What?
Yeah, okay. I had one of my favorite agency people in the world told me, and she was like, and I was, embarrassed because her image was used, and it's like, she was great. She was like, well, that's what happens if you're online.
Yeah,
it's like, God bless you.
Yeah, shit happens, man. All right, buddy.
All right.
You want to do the ins and outs like maybe Friday?
Whenever you're up for it.
Okay, let's do them maybe Friday.
Okay, if that gives you enough time.
Yeah, well, those are simple. This
it's the editing of the other shit.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds good, brother.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. See you. Bye.